Hey Charles, how's it? Um, Today we're going to be discussing and talking more about transport and trade, which is a topic under economic geography. Okay, so the key concepts that you must know and be able to explain, able to define, and so on is to define trade, balance of payments, understand what balance of trade is, imports and exports, identifying and describe positive and negative balance of trade. Explain how a negative balance of trade can be rectified. Use and interpret statistics and graphs in your explanations. Apply your own knowledge to trading partners of South Africa. Okay, so as you already know that today we're going to be discussing trade and transport. So let's get to transport and see how transport helps trade, how trade can be effective with using transport and so on. How the um, the absence of the infrastructure in terms of roads, transport, and so on, that um, can affect trade and so on. So let's start with airports, looking fundamentally in South Africa. Airports Company of South Africa, which is ACSA, owns and operates 10 airports. So this means something about South Africa. This means South Africa is active when it comes to trade because you can see that it owns and operates 10 airports. This means that at least we have a better infrastructure in terms of trade and so on. At least we active. Three international airports, OR Tambo, the very first one, which I believe it's in Johannesburg, Cape Town, which is arguably must be Winnie Mandela Airport, and King Shaka in Durban. Okay, these are the international airports that you must know and so on. Maybe during examinations, in your articles or in your case studies, these kind of um, airports or these kind of terms and so on, they might come out. So don't be like, what is oral term and so on. You must know it's in Gauteng and so on, so that you can at least make a deep understanding, understand and answer in a in a in an effective way. Okay, so OR Tambo is the largest airport and carry 18 million passengers annually. So OR Tambo is said to be the largest airport here in South Africa, which carries 18 million passengers annually. So this basically means that OR Tambo is the most busiest one, the busiest um, flight center is the busiest airport, and so I mean that people who maybe wants to go to China, they're going to go to OR Tambo. Even if you're from Eastern Cape, you're going straight to OR Tambo to take a flight to China. Okay, let me make an example of this. This is whereby if ever you are maybe a phone, you're selling second-hand phones and so on, or iPhone second hands. Maybe let's say you buy them in China cheaper. Okay, you come then you take a flight to China, then you come back with your own phones, landing back at our time. So that's kind of trading because when you bought those phones there, you exchange um the you exchange capital with goods. You gave them money, they gave you back phones, you coming back to your country. That's trading and so on. Using air flights, using air transport and so on. Okay, let's go down. The second one is ports. Okay, so no navigable rivers. So okay, let me first explain what ports is. Okay, ports are these areas that are around that's so close to oceans. Okay, just as Cape Town, your PE, which is Port Elizabeth in Eastern Cape, which is your Durban and so on. So these are the areas that are or they have ports. This is the ship transport. This is the water transport. Okay, yes, because we know that we also trade and also use this the ships and so on to trade water transport. Okay, okay. No navigable rivers, 3,000 kilometers coastline. That's it. Important for containers, cargo, dry docks. Durban largest and busiest airport. So Durban is said to be the largest and busiest port here in South Africa. Okay, so yes, so this is whereby even I can verify and support this statement that says largest and busiest port, which is Durban. If ever you familiar with Durban, let me make an example. If you go maybe to the coastal of Durban, like nearest to the sea, you can every time see that there are always ships that are coming from other countries, coming from they were like far in the sea. They are coming towards Durban and so on, straight to the harbor and so on. So port's the same as harbor, guys. Yes. So yes, so it's busiest every time during the night and so on. It's always busy there. So yeah, that's why it's said to be is busiest. I also understand. So Saldanha, largest natural port. Saldanha is mainly found in Cape Town. Okay, yes, it's the port in Cape Town. As I said to you, that these are the places that you can find ports on. So Saldanha is the largest natural port. It's the largest natural. I think it's also influenced and being the largest just because of the fact that um, you mostly use that route to like to trade using ships um, to European countries, just like as also it is influenced by the history of South Africa. Okay, yes, yeah, yes, that's what port is. Let's go down to pipelines. So pipelines, this whereby we trade by using pipelines underground. Let's say maybe it's fuel and so on, taking fuel from other countries instead of taking this fuel using trucks and so on. We just dig underground and take that fuel and connect it to our countries. As you can see in the diagram there, in the diagram, I think you can see that there's a fuel that is taken from Harare to Mutare to Beira, from Beira, also from Mozambique, from the origin of Mozambique to South Africa, to the likes of Secunda, Richards Bay, and Durban. So that pipeline connects to those towns and cities of South Africa. Also connects to from Durban to Richards Bay to Newcastle, from Newcastle to Sasol Bay, and the way far to Pretoria and Johannesburg. Okay, so this is the pipeline for the fuel underground. Okay, yes. So Petronet operates a network of 3,000 kilometers of pipes. So Petronet connects a network of 3,000 kilometers of pipe. This is a company that operates a network of 3,000 kilometers of pipe, meaning that um, the trading of these fuels is much active. Large volumes of fuel are transported inland to to refine to refineries and industrial areas. Yes, so this pipeline underground is connected to these particular areas, which are um, industrial areas and so on. So new pipelines from Mozambique, as you can see, the new pipeline. This basically means South Africa is also paying paying this fuel from Mozambique, because as you can see that we're getting some more fuel from Mozambique. So we pay Mozambique, we pay you, please give us a fuel, please make a pipeline to us and um and support us with fuel and give us and offer us fuel. That's how it goes. So also pay Mozambique. That's a trade using that kind of transport, which is pipelines. I think you understand, guys. Yes. So the fourth one, we have road transport. Road transport is the one that is most common, one that you all know, guys. Yes, but mostly we concentrate on national roads, okay, than provincial roads and local roads. Because national roads, you'll see that if a road is named starting from the letter, that's its N. You must know it's a national road 1, if it's N1. If it's N2, which is more popular, I guess, N2 is the national road 2. You understand? Yes, that's a national road. So we're concentrating more on these national roads than local roads. Yes, we also focus on local roads because also trade. These horse and trailers also pass through our local roads and so on. Okay, so um, yes, so talking about mainly roads which are used by these horse and trailers, they use about trucks, from a truck that is from Gauteng going to Zimbabwe, from Zimbabwe to Namibia, from Namibia to Cape Town and so on. So that's trading also. Okay, yes, taking goods and services, offloading and so on. So approximately 500,000 kilometers of roads in South Africa. There are many roads. Okay, so many road networks and so on. This is 500,000. At least South Africa has developed infrastructure in order for them, or in order for us to trade effectively, to be able to trade and so on. Okay, four major industrial areas well connected. So we have four major industrial areas in South Africa, which is well connected with these national roads and so on. If ever Cape Town, Durban, Johannesburg, um, and I can say in Polokwane, let's say. So if ever these four places are well joined, so if ever also there's a road from Polokwane to Cape Town, from Cape Town to Durban, from Durban to Johannesburg, so they are well connected. Even if you can see, this also proves that if you can see Cape Town, you can see Cape Town. Let me make an example of Cape Town. You can see that in Cape Town there are many national roads that are connecting to Cape Town, that are going to Cape Town, meaning that there are different, that these areas from different places go and take their goods and services to Cape Town, so they can be shipped to other areas. As you know that Cape Town is mostly a port area. Okay, yeah, it's mostly used for for for, for shipping and so on. Okay, so you can see that there's N2 that is connecting to Cape Town, N1, N7, and other transport routes, and as well as Johannesburg main N14, N1, N12, N3, which is from Devon to Johannesburg, and yes, and N1 that is passing through. Okay, yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, that's what basically it means. These four major areas are well connected. Yes, longest network in Africa. Yes, this, yes, which is 500,000 of roads. It's the longest network in Africa. So this is the longest network you'd find ever here in Africa, in this continent. 2,200 kilometers toll roads. Yes, 2,200 kilometers toll roads. Fast link between ports. So there's fast link between these ports. 80% of all freight carried by road. So 80% of these loads freight is carried by roads, using your trucks, using your vehicles, using mostly your horse and trailers and so on. So yes, that's how it goes. Let's go down to rail transport. Rail transport means train. Okay, the rail transport is train. A train, yes, train that is used to transport passengers, that is used to transport goods and services. Yes, mostly goods and services nowadays here in South Africa, but in other countries it's mostly used for transporting passengers and so on, which are commuters, workers. Okay, so Spoonet focuses on transport railway here in South Africa. So Spoonet focuses on transport rail. Yes, Spoonet has annual turnover of 9 billion rands. So meaning that at least it's also active when it comes to trading. It's also effective when it comes to transporting goods and services and so on. So developed with discovery of minerals. So rail transport is developed through or with discovery of minerals. If ever maybe make an example in East London, Eastern Cape. If ever in East London, Eastern Cape, we discover the mineral which is let me say gold. If there is gold, there will be a developed, or the government will introduce a railway station and railway line from East London straight to Joburg, because in East London there are no industries to manufacture these goods, yes, which is gold. So we are going to take these golds from East London, transport them to Johannesburg so that they can be manufactured and be exported to other countries. That's how it goes. I think you understand, guys. So that's what it means by it is developed with discovery of minerals. Okay, Sishan Saldanha, 861 kilometers, transports iron ore. So Sishan Saldanha of iron ore, coal transported along Richards Bay line. Yes. So mainly from my own knowledge, mainly it's coal that is mostly found um, as being transported by using rail transport, by using railway stations, by using trains and so on. You know, yes, that's how it goes. Okay, trade. Let's talk about trade right now. Trade. Okay, so trade is vital for a country, and in order to trade, so a country needs a developed infrastructure, as I said to you. So in order for you in a country to be able to trade, you need a developed infrastructure. This basically means that if ever you as a country want to trade, you must have, you must build industries, must be well developed ports, must have developed roads, developed railways, and have ships. You know, yes. So that is part of the infrastructure here in South Africa. So as you saw that South Africa has many roads, networks, and so on. National roads that is used in South Africa to trade and so on. Railways and so on. So um, that's why we are able to trade here in South Africa, because we have at least infrastructure, we have roads and so on. So South Africa has a well-developed road, railway, and port networks, what I just said. So this is partly as a result of minerals being exported. So okay, so if ever let's say inland or continental area, just like Johannesburg, in order for us to, or let me say Free State, Bloemfontein, in order for us, if ever we discover or we have grown some crops, some maize there in Free State, in in Velcom or any other area around Free State. So that's an inland place, it's a continental area. So we must transport those goods and services from there to Cape Town so that it can be exported through ships, because there is no ocean around there. It's an inland place. So, or take those goods and services to Johannesburg so that they can use flight to other countries and so on, because that's an international airport, which is oral term, which is mostly used and mostly to be said as effective, I can say. Yes, that's how it's said. So the value of imports compared to the value of exports is called a balance of trade. So the value of imports compared to the value of exports is called a balance of trade, meaning that if ever maybe you, so okay, let me explain what import is and what export is. So imports are these goods and services that we take from other countries. You understand? We take from other countries. And exports are the ones that goods and services that we send or we sell to other countries. So that those are the exports that take to other countries, and imports are the ones that we take from other countries. Okay, yes. So if ever we take more goods from other countries than we exporting or than we sending goods and services to other countries, that's a negative balance of trade. So if ever we export more goods than importing them, this basically means that that's a positive balance of trade, because we are getting more money, because we're taking this gold here in South Africa, we take it to China, we take it to Namibia, we sell it to USA, we sell it to European countries, we sell it to N. So this basically means that we're getting more money, okay, we're getting more capital and so on. So this means that that is very, very okay for our economy. Our economy is rising. That's a positive balance of trade. I think you understand that. So the two figures are not equal, as I have explained. If we export more than import, then we have a trade surplus. Let me repeat. So if we export than we import, we have a trade surplus, which is a positive balance of trade, as I've said. So it's a trade surplus. Okay, this term is going to come out during examinations. You should know, guys. So a trade surplus is whereby you export more goods than importing goods. Okay, this is whereby you're taking goods and services from your country to other countries. Okay, yes, by means of trading. That's a trade surplus. So if we import more than we export, then we have a trade deficit, which is a negative balance of trade. So by we import more than we export, and explain this, and then we have a trade deficit. So this is by taking more goods and services from other countries than exporting them. The rate of importing is higher than the rate of export. That's a negative balance of trade, which is triggering your economy as a country. Yes, that's how it goes. Okay, let's go down. So trade is often promoted by central government who will sign treaties. The treaties that are being signed, there are rules and regulations in trading between all of the countries. So government is the one that is responsible in signing these treaties with other countries to promote trade with one another. Yes. So for example, in Europe countries that belong to EU, which is European Union, do not have to pay import duties. They do not have to pay import duties. So import duty is a tax on imported goods. Okay, so what is an import duty? Or yes, what is an import duty? Is a tax on imported goods. So this is whereby, as a foreign company, maybe, let me use an example of Shane, because everyone knows Shane and so on. So Shane is a clothing company that you find in China, that was found by a Chinese guy and so on. So Wu Chang and so on. So this guy is going to import goods, which is clothing, to South Africa, which are cheaper. So this is going to threaten the local brands, the local industries and so on. So as South Africans, we are going to be motivated to buy these cheaper goods that you find that are from China, which are Shane goods, clothing. So we're going you want to buy these goods and services and so on. You want to buy these goods, which is clothing. So this basically means that we are building the economy of China instead of building our own economy. Yes. So instead of supporting the local brands, buying goods and services from local brands and so on, is the one that is going to make a stable and rigid economy state here in South Africa. So that's why it's taxed, so that at least it becomes not cheaper. So we put a tax on it, so it becomes at least not cheaper than the local goods and services, than the local brands and local industries. So that's what import duty is a tax that is being added on imported goods, yes. If no tax, tariff raises the price of foreign goods and protects the local industries, yes. For example, in South Africa, cheap imported clothing is taxed to protect local textile industries. Yes, is taxed to protect local industries. South Africa belongs to SADC, Southern African Development Community, which aims to reduce tariffs between members. So South Africa belongs to SADC, is the one that is taxing these imported goods which are cheaper from China, is the one that is responsible, which aim to reduce tariffs between the members. Okay, so I guess you understood the concept of import duty. Import duty. Okay, I think you understood it. I tried to explain. So the world is broken up into numerous groupings of countries that have trade agreements among themselves, such as a group of countries is called a trading bloc. Okay, so there will be countries that will have agreements in terms of trading and so on, and say, hey guys, let's then build a group. Let's trade to each other. This is China, this is USA, this is South Africa, this is Russia, this is Spain, this is the Netherlands, this is your England. Okay, guys, let's group together as these countries, these 7 countries. I'm just making an example. Let's group together and have agreements in terms of trading and so on. So such a group of countries are called a trading bloc. All of those. So we have an example here. We have an examples. So OPEC is Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. That's OPEC. AU is African Union. These are the African countries, the countries that we find in this continent of Africa that are trading to each other. Under, mind you, under certain rules and regulations, under same agreements and NNN. So we also have EU. EU is the European Union. So these are the countries that are trading to each other that you might find in Europe. Okay, and so on. Okay, let's go down. Okay, we also have NAFTA. NAFTA, it's North American Free Trade Association. Yes, these countries ratify that are trading to each other. You might find in North America. Yes, North America is a continent. Your Mexico, your so international trade is encouraged by the World Trade Organization. So trading international trade is whereby South Africa is going to trade with USA. This is whereby South Africa is going to trade with Brazil. This is whereby Brazil is going to trade with China. This is whereby China is going to trade with France. So France and then like that. That's the international trade, exchanging goods and services from these different countries and so on worldwide. Okay, it helps and it is motivated by or encouraged by World Trade Organization. Yes, it helps to negotiate new trade agreements and implement trade rules. So this helps to negotiate new trade agreements. As you know that there are agreements when countries trade to each other and implement trade rules and have rules. Let's say maybe if ever you're coming with your own goods and services from your own country, which are these goods are foreign goods to our country, then we're going to tax your goods so that that doesn't threat our economy, because many people want to buy your goods and services in cheaper prices. So we're going to add a price on the at least become expensive than our local brands so that we can keep our economy safe. That's how it goes. It's this example is an example using um import duty. Yes. So that's how it goes. So transport plays a very important role in international trade. Yes, the transport plays a very important role in international trade. Um, this is whereby we are going to find out that okay, using our jumbo flights to China, to Brazil, to everywhere. So whereby you say that at least I'm being able to move from this place to that place so that I can buy these iPhone in cheaper prices so that I can come back to my country and sell them and develop the economy of my country. That's trade. Okay, yes, that's also the role that is played by flight, which is transport. Okay, that's how it goes. Okay, so without container ships, railways, and international flights, trade between nations would be severely reduced. So, without these transport routes, without these railways, without these international flights, as I explained, trade between the countries will be limited. That's what this sentence basically means. Railways, international flights, trade between nations will be severely reduced. So without this infrastructure, without these transport routes, without these different kinds of transport, we wouldn't be able to transport our goods and services from our country to sell them or to import them from different countries. Okay? Yes, so that's so vital. That's why transport is vital in terms of trading. So South Africa is trying to promote trade by developing Cougar as a tax report. Okay, so South Africa is trying to promote and make its trading effective by developing Cougar as a tax report. Okay, what is Cougar? Why is Cougar? What does this word comes from? Okay, so Cougar is a word that is derived from ancient Khoikhoi or Khoisan language. Okay, which means cougar, Koogha. Cougar is derived from there, which basically means groundwater. Okay, so you might also find cougar as you can see in this map. That's a location of cougar here. This is the location of cougar, which is in Eastern Cape in Port Elizabeth, which is, as you can see, that it's so close to water. Okay, that's cougar, so that you can transport goods and services from the ocean, from the ship transport to this place, which is cougar, which I can say it's an industrial development zone. I can say yes, yeah. To also transport using transport routes around the country and so on from this particular port. Okay, this will hopefully improve our balance of trade, meaning that we're going to import more goods and services than we export. Okay, yes, so that's what Cougar is meant and so on. Okay, let's go down. With regards to trade, there are major stumbling blocks. An attempt is being made to eliminate unfair agreements between rich and poor countries. Okay, so this basically means that rich countries are going to buy goods and services from poor countries in cheaper prices, but poor countries are going to buy these goods and services into these poor countries in high prices or expensive rates or expensive prices. That is unfair. So in order for us to be fair is that okay, let's be all equal in terms of trading. Let's be fair to each other. That's what trade agreement is all about. So wealthy countries control a large percentage of all trades. Yes, that's how it goes. because they have everything. They know how to industrialize their own raw materials and so on. So it's easy for them to to import, to export more goods, and control all of this higher percentage of trade. In South Africa, quotas are often used to restrict how much may be imported. So this basically means that how South Africa protects its economy, how it is trying to protect its economy, what its major focus in terms of balance of trade and so on. So South Africa is mainly using um, this quota to detect how much may be imported. For example, if ever here in South Africa, okay, this person means that here in South Africa we are only going to import goods and services, few goods and services that we don't have, or that we are not able to develop, or that our land like like is absent to our land, and so that's what this rate means. Okay, making other example, this is whereby here in South Africa we are going to import the goods and that's or let me make an example. This is whereby we are going to import eggs because there are no more chickens here in South Africa. Few chickens, few meat, and so on, because of the droughts and so on. So livestock have died because of the drought. There's few meat. So let's import meat from other countries only this time. This year, let's import meat from other countries only. Just because we have gold, just because we have platinum, just because we have iron, just because we have steel, just because we have. Let's not import the whole stuff. Let's only import this little thing that we don't have, so that we can keep our balance of trade positive, and we can encourage and pull up our economy. That's how it goes. Okay, so let's go down and talk about trade. Okay, let's go down and talk about this now. Okay, so we have trade on the top, as you can see. So this is a diagram that is I can say it's summarizing all of what we have talked about, and it's very important for you guys. And if you think you're going to forget, or you want some notes, you can take your book down and write what I'm going to explain to you, and write it down and listen carefully. It's going to come out during your exam. Each and every term here is being described, is being fully explained using diagrams and so on. So I'm going to also help you to create understanding on it. So it's going to come up to your exam. So trade: when a country sells goods to other countries and buys goods it needs from other countries. That's trade. This is whereby a country sells goods to other countries and buys goods. This is whereby a country imports goods and exports goods to other countries. Okay, that's what trade is all about. So a balance of payment. Balance of payment is a statement or account in which a country's transaction with other countries are indicated. Okay, we have import and export. I've explained, but let me explain again. These are the goods that we brought into a country. Those are imports. These are the goods that brought into a country. We take these goods and services from other countries. Exports: these are the goods sent out to other countries. Those are the exports. We're taking these goods, selling to other countries, or sending to other countries. Those are the exports. So we have balance of trade. Balance of trade is a payment obligations that arise when a country imports or exports goods. Yes, as you know that we have a positive balance of trade, negative balance of trade as well. But we're going to discuss also that in this diagram, I guess. Yeah. So as you also know that A positive balance of trade, that's a trade surplus, and the negative balance of trade, that's a trade deficit. Okay, let's go down. Yeah, let's go down. Okay, we have an example here of which is going to make a deeper understanding or create a deeper understanding in your minds, guys. Please pay attention. So in 1982, this is a different year. We have 1982 and 1983. Let's start in 1982. In 1982, we exported gold that has a value of 8,641,000 rands. Okay, 8,641,000 rands. And other exports, other goods and services, like other exports that has a value of 10,649,000, which has a total or makes a total of 19,290,000. Okay, so the imports, those were just exports. All right, yes, gold was export because we're exporting it. Other export 10,749,000, which is a total of 19,290,000. So the imports, these are the goods that we took from other countries, has worth of or has a value of 20,079,000. Okay, meaning that we imported more goods, more value of goods than we exported, and that as the balance was negative, which is minus 789 million or 789 million, meaning that we've lost 789 rands. Okay, not million. I think 789 rands. Yes. So we've lost money. That's a negative balance of trade. We've lost because the imports were higher than the exports. Let's go to 1983. 1983, we exported a gold that is value of, or a gold that is amount of 9,929,000, and other exports which has a value of 10,779,000, and other exports, or in total 20, in total 20 million 708,000. Okay, let's go to impulse in millions. Okay, so the imported goods has a value of 17,545,000. I don't even know if it's calling these rands in a correct name, these numbers, because it says million here, as you can see, in million, reds in million. So that's why I'm saying 17,545,000 instead of 17,545,000, instead of 17,545. Yes, yeah. So that's why I'm saying million. Okay, yeah, but it's the same thing, makes understanding at the end. So the balance, which is outcomes now, it was 3,163,000, meaning that it's plus, it's positive balance of trade. Okay, as you can see in 1983. The reason why it's positive is that we exported more goods and services, high value of goods and services, than we imported. So we imported less value of goods and services, of goods, I can say. Okay, positive balance of trade. Positive balance of trade, you know what it is. So this is why export exceed imports in 1983. Yes, let me go back there. So in 1983, this year, the exports exceeded the imports. That means trade surplus is a positive balance of trade. More money earned from exports. We solve our goods and services and take less goods and services from other countries. Okay, that's how it goes. As a positive balance of trade. Okay, there's more money, and yes, so as you can see, there's high load, meaning that there's more imports and less exports on this side. That's why this one is going down, because there is high amount of exports and less amount of imports on this side. So this is favorable balance of trade. That's how it goes. So in this side we have a negative balance of trade. So this is whereby imports exceed exports. This is whereby we're importing more than we're exporting. So we're buying goods from other countries, forgetting our own economy. That threatens our own economy, because we're buying goods from other countries. Okay, more goods and exporting less. So imports exceed exports in 1982, as you can see there. 1982. That is trade deficit. More money spent on imports. As you can see, less exports, and more imports, That is unfavorable balance of trade. Okay, going down. So this is how South Africa rectifies a negative balance of trade. This is how South Africa prevents negative balance of trade, or you're trying to fix how we can improve our balance of trade. Okay, so how South Africa does that? It increases the exports. This is whereby we're going to export more goods to other countries, sell them, and get this high hunch of money. Yeah. Decrease imports. This is whereby we are going to grow our own food in our own land. This is whereby we are going to look for ourselves. Okay? Look after for ourselves, and so grow our own things, industrialize our own things, and so on. Than importing from other countries. Import less from other countries. Okay? Export more gold. This is whereby South Africa is more gold. This is whereby we're going to export more gold, so that we can get more money, more services from other countries. Exchange of goods and services, trading. That's how it goes. I think that's the end of the lesson. Thank you so much. I think you've learned more.